Have you ever felt nothing before? No opinions, no cares, no respect, no hate, no loathing, nothing. Just nothing. Season 6 of SpongeBob SquarePants is the king of nothing burgers. It's primarily known for its overblown mediocre episodes, such as Squid's Visit, Choir Boys, Boating Buddies, Nautical Novice, The Splinter, Dear Vikings, Ditchin', Cephalopod Lodge, Shuffleboarding, Professor Squidward, Truthers Square, The Clash of Triton. Okay, wow, that's a lot more than I remember. Sure, the season does have some winners, namely Sandcastles in the Sand, Krabby Chronicle, Not Normal, and Krabby Road, but Season 6 is incredibly mixed. I think it is a ton of missed potential with offbeat characterizations but interesting ideas for plots. Okay, so why in Neptune's name is this random SpongeBob YouTube guy I clicked on talking about Season 6 instead of the episode I want? Take all of my criticisms that I just listed. What if we made such a microcosm of Season 6 of SpongeBob SquarePants that it, in of itself, is nothing? It is in a nothing season sandwiched between two nothing episodes, Grooming Gary and Porous Pockets. Do you even remember what happens in Grooming Gary? Besides the poorly aged title? Probably not. We open on a hot summer's day at the Krusty Krab. Within the first 5 seconds, we get a sweaty Tarantino shot of SpongeBob. Fantastic. Squid ain't looking any better. Krabs has refused to pay the electric bill of $9 million. I'm not kidding. Mr. Sweaty wants to know where his customers are, and Fried Calamari tells him the beach. We cut to the beach as Krabs and the crew are trying their best to sell Krabby Patties to the beachgoers. Take note of the grill. I'm coming back to it in about 45 seconds, I think? I don't know. One customer would happily pay $3 for a patty, but left his wallet on the beach. A loud, long yell interrupts. Everyone looks around and, oh, it's just Sandy. What a surprise! Sandy's here. It's been so long since we've gotten anything decent with her. Man, I can't wait to see my favorite character interact with and bounce off of this story.
Oh, that noise was Sandy!
Y'all be careful! Looks like some big waves are coming!
Yes, SpongeBob, that is, in fact, Sandy. And Squid acts like he has never met her. Krabs also just treats her like a background fish. As you heard, there are some big waves coming in, but an even bigger wave is caused by Patrick surfacing into the plot. He's happy to buy food, and states,
I can't quite see it from here. I'll just have to climb on board.
That's a good one, Patrick. On board!
I'll try to keep the clips to a minimum, but you have to believe me when I tell you about the dialogue in this episode. Did I miss something? Is the joke that SpongeBob is just an idiot? Regardless, we don't have time to think, as Patrick hops on and tips the surfboard over. I think it's been longer than 45 seconds, but now do you understand the grill? I'm just gonna assume it was meant to be absurd, that's a joke, whatever. Patrick propels our surfers forward directly into whatever her name is, and launches everyone in different directions. Sandy gets catapulted to an island, Krabs in the middle of the sea, and we'll catch up with the trio in a bit. As you could tell, the pacing is fast. We went from the intro to inciting incident in the span of 2 scenes. This, I am a fan of. I don't think any of the jokes land so far, maybe besides the power bill, and the characters all have nothing interesting to say, but this at least means we can get more of the meat and potatoes of this episode. Compare it to SpongeBob's Last Stand, which in my opinion was weighed down by the overly long intro and speedy conclusion. The scene at the Krusty Krab? That's the entire velocity of this special. Characters standing around, saying lines, and then charting to the next scene. Speaking of the next scene, we follow Mr. Krabs as he splashes into the unknown with his cash register. Dark clouds settle above the skies. Spouts of blood shoot up. Jelly donuts slam into the sea. This is no ordinary sea. We're in the Dutchman's Triangle, above Davy Jones's locker, in the Devil's Galley. I wish I could play the audio, but man, this is such a good joke. I love how over the top they go, with the haunting choir music popping up every single time. Washing ashore, Sponge, Squid, and Pat are stranded. Sponge drags seaweed in the sand, cause why not, but finds people. These surfer bros tell them they are on an island. An island? And Sponge and Squid are shocked. Again, am I missing something here? Let's meet the new characters for this special. Awesome Eddie, Big G, Chip, and Silent Stan. I like Stan the most. Twitch is their leader, and later in the hut, the castaways inform us the only way home is to surf back. SpongeBob freaks out as he doesn't know how to surf, but the team can train them. We get a montage of Twitch trying to train Sponge and Pat to surf, narrated by Bruce Brown, who, as I am skimming and plagiarizing off of his Wikipedia article, was an early pioneer of the surf film. He made a bunch of surfing-related documentaries, which is sick. I love him being included here. Instead of learning how to get back home, the two goof off and Sponge dives under the water to show off a picture of Squidward. Okay. Twitch throws in the towel, claiming our crew is unteachable. Thankfully, Big J, or whatever his name was, has an idea. There is one more person on the island, one legend, who just might be able to teach them. Jack Kahuna Laguna. Or just JKL. He's supposedly upriver at Kamamoku Cove. Patrick asks if nachos will be involved. We cut to the surfers seeing the trio off. They've actually never taken this river because they are terrified of it. Why'd my voice get thick? Okay, a brief intermission here. SpongeBob versus the Big One is smack dab in the middle of Season 6. If you've taken the prereq course for this video, you know this season and a few onwards are quite divisive. One of the more notable changes of the show was the humor. And I'm just going to be blunt here. I'm not a fan of Season 6's style of humor. It's where the writers try to use awkward pauses and offbeats for humor, like that, but they never really land for me. Generally, it's a setup of character A says one thing, character B will say another, A will give some quirky remark or non sequitur, and then we just sit with them for a few seconds. This can work, and when it does, usually the jokes have an extra support to fall on. For instance, House Fancy, bless its heart, pulls off its off-kilter humor with Nicholas Withers, the host of the show. He's just weird, and you can't get a good read on him, and that is what makes the joke land. It's like watching an alien try to talk to a person. The absurdity is the joke. But most times when this is thrown, it feels less like a curveball and more like a beanball. It's a complete pace killer and comes off as lol, I'm so random and quirky. Instead of a crafted design with that thumb-looking guy, the joke is hollow and seems more like a writer needed to kill a few seconds. Case in point, that Patrick Nachos line. Like, sure, it's something he would probably say, but it just doesn't land. I don't know. Your mileage will vary, and I'm probably overanalyzing a bit here. Hey! It's the squirrel! She's on a separate island and... oh, that's the entire scene, okay. Here we get to the highlight of the episode. A montage of the three floating down the river as we see the new environment. We get an original song, that being Beeline for the Tree Line. It is a natural, really relaxing tune. It suits the scene perfectly as we explore the island, taking in the sights of a surfboard-shaped mountain, the flora, and the beautiful waterfalls. It's not even a minute long, but it's one of the few scenes that has a perfect tempo to it. It doesn't overstay or understay its welcome. It's just a really good scene. We pull over and SpongeBob discovers JKL's hut. Man, that was easier than expected. We find the man, the myth, the legend, and Squidward reacts accordingly. I love the comically oversized surfboard. Say hello to the man himself, Jack Kahuna Laguna. He gracefully dives into the ocean and transcends everything, achieving inner peace. He then goes back to his hut and tells the group that was their first lesson. Squid obviously isn't happy, but JKL has another lesson. Just keep breathing. Krabs is losing it at sea. Thankfully, he still is cashy. Unfortunately, he launches part of the register at the Flying Dutchman, who was returning home from a grocery trip. He wants Krabs to pay, but of course, the cheapskate ain't budging. That's all that happens in the entire scene as we cut back to the trio. Night has fallen and Squid is still complaining about their lessons, and once again, JKL shows up to deliver his wisdom, bongo style. Sponge goes to talk with him off screen and is told to just stare into the campfire. Just like 3 sentences ago, that was the entire scene. Let's go cut back to Sandy. I'm sure whatever she is doing will be relevant. She has actually made progress? Oh. Okay. She's built a hotel, generators, a vehicle, even a cafe. Sandy has had enough of the plot and takes a custom-built heli to go save her friends. I like the entire air traffic control joke with just some poor soul stuck there. She ventures into the sky and oh, okay, that's the entire scene again. Alright. We cut back to Krabs, still bickering with the Dutchman. And again, that's the entire scene. Sponge and Patrick have stared into the fire the entire night when Squid, for the 10,000th time, goes to confront JKL. Suddenly, a vicious storm overtakes the island. No way! Conflict? In this plot, JKL flees as Sponge chases him down. I actually really like the shot of the mountain peak with the blurred background. It's a weird comment to make, but we rarely see this kind of effect in SpongeBob. It makes the shot stand out. We chase after JKL and onto some kind of ancient ruin. Jack explains that once every 1,000 years, the planets align to form the perfect wave to surf, the Big One. This is the ticket home. If they miss this wave, they will be stuck here forever. This is cool! We finally get to see what the name of the episode means. For the third time, Krabs and the Dutchman are still bickering. Thankfully, Sandy comes in to save the plot and she gets shot down by Cashy. Say goodbye to Sandy. This is her second to last scene. Her heli manages to knock out the Dutchman though, who winds up at the bottom of the sea. His worst fears are realized as he is in Davy Jones's locker. We then meet Davy Jones himself, actual lead singer of the Monkees. Was there a single kid who got this joke? I gotta give it respect. He pelts the Dutchman with his socks as Daydream Believer plays in the background. It's time for the big one, I guess. Before they depart, JKL reveals one final piece of info. In order to tame the big one, a sacrifice must be made. We could have used that advice a bit earlier, Spray Tan, but okay. We find ourselves head to head with the wave, and this is probably the only thing you actually recall from this episode. At least that was with me. The wave devours Patrick's surfboard, and Squid jumps onto Sponge's. Mr. Krabs is also here, I guess, who they rescue thanks to JKL. Cashy is lost to the waves though, and Laguna dives in to save her, giving his life in the process. With their guiding light lost, SpongeBob transcends with his bongos and rides the big one. Returning to Goo Lagoon, Sandy crashes into the ground. Met with hostility, she assures the fish she is not an alien. She tries to find any info about her friends, but none of the fish even know SpongeBob's name. Keep this in mind for the next 7 seconds. The four also return at this time, having survived the wave. And now everyone just throws a party, including Larry and Pearl and Gary. Also somehow here are the surfers from earlier. You remember, right? Twitch, Big G, Chip, Silent Stan? All of my favorite SpongeBob characters. We don't know how they returned here at all. I guess they rode the big one too? And also returning, JKL arrives on shore as everyone dances their heart out. That was it. That was the entire episode. That was 22 minutes long. Would you believe me if I told you this episode was produced during the 2007 to 2008 writer's strike? Am I stupid? I didn't understand a single thing about that entire episode. What was the point of including Krabs and Sandy? Why the Flying Dutchman? They didn't serve any purpose for the episode. Sandy tries to force herself back into the plot but gets shot away. She's treated like such a side character. I don't think Sandy should have had a plot nor Krabs. Krabs is there. He has nothing to work with, nobody to really bounce off of until the Flying Dutchman arrives. When he does show up, they have a back and forth, but it's one scene stretched across 3. Even our A-plot blows. JKL was so pointless here. Do you want to know something funny? JKL is billed highly in this episode because he's voiced by Johnny Depp. I want you, viewer, to guess how many lines Jack gets in the entire episode. Go on, guess. 15. He gets 15 lines. They have no potent information, they barely push the plot along, and he just doesn't teach them how to surf. Why even bother building him up the entire time if you aren't going to use him? Why cast Johnny Depp or even any celebrity? What was the point of the big one? The sacrifice it required? For all the crap I gave SpongeBob's Last Stand in my video, it built up the conflict. The episode felt centered around the Shelly Superhighway. This episode just doesn't have a core pillar. We have the mashed potatoes, the drinks, everything. We're just missing our steak. How did Twitch come to Goo Lagoon? Why did they come to Goo Lagoon? Earlier they called it a tourist trap. The episode has an alternate title of The Secret of Kahuna Laguna, which tells me the giant wave probably wasn't the main point of the episode, and it shows. I'm not sure why it was marketed this way, but even if the marketing was all hype for JKL, it still didn't work because he barely does anything. Granted though, some of the commercial bumps are pretty funny.
On April 17th, get ready for something big.
Whoa.
Really big.
I've never seen anything more beautiful.
Really, really big.
Oh my.
I also really like the Burger King one where a dad just assaults people with a surfboard. I really want to dive a bit more into the history of the episode because there's actually a live script reading at the Sundance Film Festival in 2009. There are some weird elements, most notably 2 scenes involving plankton. Apparently, I'd just like to say. This was added to the wiki in 2009 and the link is dead. The Wayback Machine has a save page, but the player is dead and I can't find the video anywhere online. Is this lost media? Maybe. Anyways, back to the nitpicking. The pacing sucked. We cut between so many scenes so frequently nothing could work. The exploration montage and build up to the big one were the only scenes that had impact. I feel like I'm watching a parody of something that doesn't exist. It's absurdist. Elements just come and go as they please, but the episode fails to use any element of absurdism. I hate saying this, but the dialogue feels like I fed an AI a SpongeBob script and asked for a surfer gnarly pounder bro version. Patrick spouts off one-liners, but they don't have any dressing to them. Sure, some of them are decent, but for the most part it feels like random for the sake of random. There isn't any flow in this episode. Entire plot points are dropped or don't have any major relevance to the story. Characters just don't act like what we were used to, and some feel shoehorned in for time. Nothing happens in this episode. It feels like the writers didn't know what to do. Why was this a special? It doesn't use the 22 minutes well at all. Why bother speedrunning Mr. Krabs and especially Sandy in a special? It's meant to be longer, so why did they get so little while the main plot feels like the same 5 scenes repeated? If you told me this was supposed to start as an 11-minute normal episode and got bloated to a special, I'd fully believe you. It's just nothing. I don't know what else to add or rephrase. It's a colossal waste of the viewer's time. Am I just missing something? I go check consensus online and people like it. Man, I even dug up the ancient skeleton of my ancestor Pie Guy Rules, one of the original SpongeBob creators on YouTube, and even he said this episode was good. Just needed a bit more to really drive it home. The episode doesn't even follow its own rules and drags its feet what feels the entire way before switching to the B-plot shoes, dragging them for 20 seconds, then not even bothering to put on the Sandy sandals, just chucking them. I have learned from the past 2 or so videos I have made that there are fans for any episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. I was shocked by how many people love greasy buffoons when I kinda made fun of it in one of my recent videos. I just want to know what people like about the episode. I'm starting to realize maybe I'm just not a SpongeBob special kind of guy. Is it just supposed to be a shut your brain off kind of thing? One last thing I wanted to mention but couldn't figure out how to put into the script, so instead I'm using this comically long named chapter to do so. I wanted to quickly bring up some last minute trivia. By far, I think the coolest thing the episode does is something native to its DVD. We get a Plankton commentary track, a parody of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Hopefully I can show you it natively, but chances are I won't have the DVD in time to get the footage. So, thanks to this 10-year-old Daily Motion god of a person, we can still see what Plankton has to say.
He keeps it in the safe, you know. Show us the safe! Show us the safe! Yeah, they won't show you that. That's a big secret. Well, well, it was only a matter of time. Here come the hippies. Boy, this story just keeps getting dumber and dumber. But I'm waiting for my wash cycle to end, so I don't have anywhere to go. Nothing else on. Good heavens, who's that? I've never seen that weirdo before. What's his story? All I know is another idiot is getting more screen time than me. When does it end?
Will you teach us how to surf, oh great one, so we may get back home?
Oh, this guy's a piece of work. Nice special effects. If I saw that in a dark alley, I'd be scared. No more SpongeBob, no more of that laughing. No more Squidward, no more Patrick, no more Krabs, no more worries. Man, that would be the life. I could start a new business and sell insurance like my dad. And then everyone would love me.
And that's it. That's all I have. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm not the target demographic. At least with SpongeBob's Last Stand, there was a medley of good bits, such as the songs or environment or Plankton just getting to be Plankton. This episode is just forgettable. I remember the vacation specials more than this. I didn't think that was possible. I do not think there's a more forgettable special. Prove me wrong. I'm hoping this video wasn't too overtly whiny, but just, man, what a waste of time. I've been B-Tan. Thanks for watching.